An update to my stamina support Warden build for Horns of the Reach. This iteration of the build is called the Immortal Warden. So let's hit up the character sheet. Let me apply the buffs. We have wings, stamina, defense. So your max stamina recovery is going to be at 1436. This seems pretty low, but as we're going to go through the Warden, we're going to see how we actually don't really rely so heavily on stamina compared to every other class. We rely much more on cost reduction. So your weapon damage around 1600 just buffed with a Betty. That's not including your weapon enchantment. Your crit is going to be just at 22%. Your spell resistance is going to be a little bit higher. So you're at 2800 on the front bar. On your back bar, you're at 3100, so you're pretty much over the cap. Put all 64 points into stamina. You want to be a vampire. Tri-stat food. And your boon is of the serpent for the stamina recovery. Let's go look at our weapon and gears. So, just like the last build, we have Alteration Mastery. I really tried to change out this set. I thought maybe Marksman was going to be a little bit better, or Dragon Hulk, or Bone Pirate Tatters, you know, for more recovery on the stamina, to be more stamina focused. What I found is that, yeah, I would have bigger heals, I would have a lot more recovery, but I couldn't defile as much, I couldn't mobilize as much. I was really starved of my magicka. I couldn't do anything about it. So I came back to Alteration Mastery. So for our front bar, I have an axe. This doesn't matter when you're using a shield, but with powered. This is the #1 item you want to go without first. This will make your heals much stronger. With a weapon enchantment of weapon damage to increase your weapon damage by 350 for 5 seconds. Alteration Mastery Shield. The enchantment is going to be stamina, and you can either get infused, impin, or divines. It's really up to you. Divines will help with your recovery. Infuse just gives you a little bit more stamina, and impin just makes that crit damage you take is less. Really up to you. So for our back bar, Alteration Mastery, this one happens to be a dagger, and I'm using defending. Same enchant on the weapon enchant, and same shield. Now a change from my last build, pre-Horns of the Reach, I'm using Pirate Skeleton now. Pirate Skeleton, both heavy. You can use a heavy and a light if you want a little bit more stamina. So you can run like a 6-1. Pirate Skeleton, why I went to it is that I was trying to be a bit more tankier. Plague Doctor, which I was or Bloodspawn, which I was using previously, you know, was giving me good ultimate. I was getting ultimate back fast. You can do the trees quickly, you can get to Permafrost quickly, but there was a lot of times where I just had too much ultimate. So I went to Pirate Skeleton so I can take a lot more damage from people and survive a lot longer. You can go back to Bloodspawn if you desire that. You can go use Malabeth if you want. You can use Earthcore, one of the new monster sets, if you want to focus a little bit more on healing than on just being able to straight take damage while being damaged and being able to heal while you're taking damage. So this is really up to you, but I found Pirate Skeleton is the best for how my group plays. We're always taking a lot of damage all the time. So in Impen, and I run all sets of gear, all heavy, all Impen. If you want to put a couple of divines on your big pieces, then that'll be fine. You only lose a little bit of Impen and gain a decent amount of stamina recovery if you feel you're suffering. Heartland. So I took out Plague Doctors. It was not doing so well in Horns of the Reach when it lost about 2,000 hit points. It wasn't worth it anymore. So I went over to Heartland's Impen, and the main reason was for 4 and 5. It reduces your damage from players by 5%, and reduces the damage of siege weapons and player AoE abilities by 20%. So I stand in bombs and negates all the time with my team. That's about what I mostly do. So with this set alone, you're taking 25% less damage from the Destro ulti. Just straight. Whatever they do is 25% less damage. It doesn't matter. And that's amazing in Cyrodiil. Now in Battlegrounds, not so great. There's not a lot of bombs, and that's not the main use. And there's not a lot of bombs and VDs and 25,000 people stacked on a flag where they'll go blow you up. But in Cyrodiil, that's what you run into, and this mitigates a quarter of that damage. So this is why I've gone with Heartland. And also it keeps adds 4% healing taken that Plague Doctor also have, and we also have health in here, so we're not totally losing out on health. It's an amazing set. It's great for all PvP in Cyrodiil. For duels and for Battlegrounds, I would use Impregnable, just for the straight crit resistance, because you're not running into bombs all that much. Now for our enchants, 2 of my pieces have max Stam, and then all my other pieces have max health, with one large piece with max health. And this is just so I had a good balance on my stats. On my jewelry, this is gold alteration. 1 has added stamina recovery, and 2 have reduced cost of stamina abilities by 203. I would always keep the reduced cost. If you feel like you have too much recovery and you're doing really well heavy attacking, which is very important with this build, that you want to be heavy attacking all the time to keep your stamina up at full, just about. You can take out this stamina recovery and put in weapon damage, so you can just do a little bit more healing. Now over to our skills. So we're running the Argonian. One of the main reasons, because the support Warden, as much as we're putting all 64 points into stamina, we're actually splitting ourselves between magic gun stamina with a lean on stamina and hit points. So with the Argonian, we get the 3% max magicka, which is going to help with the majority of our skills, which do our defile and our stamina regen and our mobilizing. And when you drink a potion, you gain an extra 4620 health, magic, and stamina, which is ginormous in this game. I mean, once you run out of resources, you pop that, you have an extra life. We're increasing our max health. This works very well with the Warden, especially since we gain minor toughness all the time when we're healing. And poison and disease resistance is pretty good, especially against anyone who likes those spammers who do poison and check all the time. And quick to mend increases healing done and healing received by 5%. This is a big deal because we are a healer and we are a little bit of a tank, and you're going to see through our skills we really depend on the increased healing instead of weapon damage to have big heals as a stamina healer, so we can do multiple jobs very well. Now for our front bar, which is our healing bar, doing healing thicket. This one is so we can have a larger heal. So after the trees are gone, we do 20,000 healing to our allies over 4 seconds, which is actually closer to 10,000 in PvP. And when this is buffed, it goes up just a little bit more. So let's just throw on Betty. You go 21. So it'll be 11,000 over 4 seconds after the heal is done. So it's very good. The other morph gives you back some of your ultimate, but we gain back ultimate so fast, and this only costs 71 ultimate because of one of the sets we're wearing. We're actually doing okay. Just give the extra healing. Soothing Spores. This is the main reason we're running a Warden as stamina. The stamina costs less than the Magicka version. The Magicka version costs almost 1,000 more, maybe a little bit more. And also, when we're healing our allies within 8 meters, we're healing for 15% more. So on top of major mending that we have and Templars don't, we just get another 15% because you know, ESO decided so let's use it. And you gotta remember, this is a stamina heal. So say there's a negate, it doesn't matter. You ignore negates. You can heal and negate. You can teabag then heal and negate. You can spin around and heal and negate. It feels so good doing it. Corrupting pollen. So this is where we're defiling everyone, and this is one of our support abilities that you use in multiple ways if you're smart enough and you really learn how to use this. So it heals for 8,200, so say 4,100. Every time it pops, it takes 6 seconds, so you got to make sure you're placing this correctly, knowing where the enemies are and will be for the next 6 seconds, or in 6 seconds at least, and where your allies will be if you're trying to use it for a heal. This is defiling for 46% when you put 100 points into your champion tree on Beowulf, but we'll get to that in the champion section. And there is also a synergy, so anyone that needs an emergency heal, they'll get a real quick, see, 11-2, so 6,500 hit point heal on the spot. Another way of using corrupting pollen is to gain back a lot of your max, or a lot of your stamina and your magicka, and this has to do with Nature's Gift. So with Nature's Gift, when you heal an ally with a green balance ability, you gain 250 of your magic and stamina back. So one thing I like to do is to always have this up. Learn to aim it, you know, maybe believe you're playing a shooter, and understand what max distance is for you. So that's a max distance, and it's far enough. Usually shouldn't be that far from your players. So that's down there 6 seconds. If you have 6 of your allies standing in there, when that pops and you heal all of them, even for 1 hit point, you're going to get 250 magicka or stamina back, whichever one is lowest by percentage. So if there's 4 people, you're going to get back 1,000 stamina. 5, 1250, and 6, 1,500. And that's the same thing for your mushrooms. Only problem with the mushrooms is that most of the time you're also healing yourself, so you're going to get back from Nature's Gift 5 for so 1250. But this is why Wardens are very strong, and we don't have to really rely on recovery. We really rely on cost reduction. Now the problem is, if you can't aim this heal and you're not placing down this skill and knowing where your people are going to be, like on a flag or anything like that, you're going to suffer being a Warden in general. So you really got to get good at aiming and timing and understanding battles. Next skill is our bull niche. I just call it Betty. So this gives us a little bit more stamina over time, and also gives us the major brutality, which increases our weapon damage by 20% for 27 seconds. So this is giving us bigger heals. Another thing that the Betty does is that if you've taken damage like I did here, you can heal yourself. Let's see, for 1126, and crits are 1600, 1667. So you notice that my hit points are going over my normal max. They're going into 32.4. So there's something wrong in the game where our passive here, maturation, when you healing you in an ally grants them minor toughness. So I was thinking this is only for green balance skills, so our mushrooms and the Defiler heal, but this also works for the bull niche. So just pop bull niche and you'll keep minor toughness on yourself all the time, and it also costs 0. So I'll go back up to it. Just target self, duration 27, no cost. As you can see up here, it would show a cost. So our next skill is something else I want to show you with the bull niche. So say you're running, and I'll fast forward this because it'll take me a minute to run out of stamina. Bull niche. No stamina, still sprinting. So you can use that, and this only works with the stamina version because it's just giving you back. See, when it runs out, that's it. So put up your niche, You're running. You're sprinting. You're still sprinting. So you can eternally run as long as bull netches up. So there's just another trick with the Wardens and you know how broken we are. Now back to the Deceptive Predator. So magic skill gives us major expedition and also major endurance, which increases our stamina recovery by 20% for 10 seconds. This used to be 6 seconds, it recently is now 10 seconds. And we also gain minor evasion. This is the only way to gain minor evasion so far in ESO. So our dodge chance is up by 5%. You have to keep this up at all times. And you can count out 10 seconds. Always remember 10 seconds. So if you do a Betty and a wings, you know you're going to be doing about 3 wings per Betty. Always remember that. And always keep up your armor. Alright, so now for the, and then guard. So guard, this is up to you. I like playing with guard because of the playstyle in my group. So with guard, I'm always attached to my bomber. So 30% of their damage isn't be coming to me, and I'm also increasing their critical strike damage by 10%. So they crit with a bomb. Just because I'm tethered to them, they're taking less damage and they're doing a bit more damage. This works very well with a lot of the skills that I have in my back bar and why I run guard instead of other skills. Alright, so for our back bar, one of the benefits of being the stamina warden over a magical warden other than healing in the gates and being able to break free of everything and roll dodging all the time is being able to give your group retreating maneuver. So retreating maneuver is just giving everyone major expedition and is also granting them immunity to snares and immobilizers. So this is really important for your bomber, you know, so they don't have to run a movie potion, and you don't have to either, and you don't have to misform into battle all the time, so you can go do other things. Our next skill is from the vampire tree, so elusive mist. One of the reasons I'll use elusive mist is, say I'm tethered to a bomber and we're about to run into, you know, a horde of 30, 40 people, whatever is out there. I'm guarding them and giving them permafrost, so you're snaring and stunning all the enemies and giving a 30% damage reduction. And I'm doing this while I'm misformed, so I'm taking 75% less damage. You're just an immortal, and you're keeping your team immortal. So to permafrost, as I was saying, it snares the enemies, stuns them, they take 3 ticks, and everyone within the permafrost takes 30% less damage. And this permafrost is large, it's 10-meter radius. So 10 meters, both, you know, left, right, front, back. Looks like a big hurricane. This is our main skill, and this is the purpose of the build. It's to support your team, is to make it that your bombers can bomb everyone and they're stuck and the team freaks out, the enemy team freaks out. Ice Fortress. So this gives you minor protection, so 20 or 8% of incoming damage is reduced for 24 seconds, and also gives you and your teammates major resolve and physical resistance and major ward, which is another 5200 magical resistance. So this only works for 6 people at a time, but if you have 12 people, you click it twice while they're all in range and you'll get everybody. So it has smart targeting. Crippling shards is about our main skill when our bomber's bombing and we're permafrosting. You want to go in, hit your permafrost. You might want to do a misform first, so you don't get knocked back. And then once you're in the group and your bomb is bombing them and you're permafrosting them, you want to crippling shards them and make them roll out, have to roll out, because they're going to be in a panic. So they're trying to roll out, and then you stun them within the rollout because the permafrost is bigger than, you know, the area of the permafrost is larger than how far you can roll, then they're going to be stunned. There's a lot of magic characters. They're not going to be able to roll out and break free. Then you can go and do a defile on them. So make sure you're mobilizing everyone. That's the biggest deal with this build, and mobilizing the crap out of everyone, stunning everyone while keeping your team alive. You're not there for the damage or the glory, but you create the glory. Now for passives, you take every passives in Winter Embrace, Green Balance, and Animal Companion in your one-handed shield. I have everything in heavy, medium, and light armor, but for this build specifically, you only need skills in all your heavy armor. Everything in Vampire, everything in Undaunted, Assault, but not Combat Frenzy because you're not killing people. Everything in Support, and as I said before, everything in Argonian. Alright, so for our champion tree, put 45 points into tenacity just because heavy attacking is very important in this build. I recommend going into battlegrounds and having a team of at least 2, but 4 if you could, guard and learn how to heavy attack while you're healing and defiling and immobilizing and doing what you do. This makes a big difference in your survivability and your usefulness to your team. If you never do a heavy attack, you're going to run out of your stats very quickly. And you're going to be useless, and you're going to be standing in the back with your wings up and your betting edge up, waiting for your recovery to come back and popping your potions since you're an Argonian. Mooncalf only put 75 points, so we have 14% more stamina recovery. The extra 25 points that it takes to get it to 100 only gives you 1% more stamina recovery, and it doesn't matter, especially since we're not stacking recovery. It's not going to help you at all. Befoul, put 100 in here because I want every point of healing reduction to my enemies coming from my Green Balance heal. 100 into Blessed in the Mage tree because we're healing and we're more trying to get our healing up through healing done and not through our weapon damage. 20 into Elemental Expert just because there was nowhere else to put it. Over here in the Mage tree, we're doing Precise Strikes because you gotta remember that our heals are stamina, so they're off of weapon damage. So you want to increase the damage and healing of your critical strikes with your stamina abilities. And you also want to put the points into the Mage tree because you want to get the 12% weapon critical. 45 into Ironclad. So this is where you can change up the champion tree just a little bit. We don't have a specific defense against direct damage. You know, we're using Heartland, which is taking 25% damage away from AoE abilities, so that's set. And Heartland only helps with 5% damage reduction from all other abilities such as direct attacks. So if you want to take away some points from resistance, about 15 the most, put in Ironclad. That's alright. Feel it out. If you're getting bird spammed a lot, or you got Sorks just throwing frags at you all the time, and that's what's actually killing you, take away a little bit of resistance and put into Ironclad. I wouldn't go over 60 though in Ironclad, because then the diminishing returns will be way too severe. 60-60 into Hardy and Defender, and that's really for the Unchained. So we can break free a lot. We're really free to break free since we're a stamina healer and support and tank. So every time you break free, you reduce the cost of your next stamina ability by 80%. So this is another place where, you know, we're free to not have such high recovery. You just have to always keep in mind what you're doing after you're breaking free. And then in the Warriors tree, so I put 25 points into quick recovery. This is keeping in mind that I run with a group and I'm not the only healer, because we're not full-time healers. You want to be a full-time healer, you have to change up your build a little bit and lose a lot of your tankiness. So I help my healers by letting them heal me by a little bit more, about like what, 6.6% more. So this is for your survivability. You mitigate a lot of damage and you can heal yourself and your group pretty well, but it's always alright to get extra help. Alright guys, well thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this build. I've been enjoying working with this build and evolving this build over time, and I found this to be the most effective way. I've gone through many gear sets, and you can definitely adjust this build to what you want. Are you looking to be a little bit more of a healer? Well, and heal through the stamina, you can take out alteration mastery and give yourself, bone pirates or another stamina set like marksman. So you're going to be a lot stronger in the healing and the recovery, and not so much on the support. So this is really flexible for you. You don't have to run these sets exactly. If you want a little bit more ultimate, put on Bloodspawn. It's really up to you. You can make this what you want, but this is the best way I've found with my group. So talk to your group, see what they need, and also sell them on the idea of this kind of build. A lot of people don't really understand how the Warden works. It's a very new class for a large population, and they're not going to understand why Permafrost is good, or why the stamina mushroom heals are good, or why having low weapon damage is fine for our class. So let them know and show them, and you're going to do really well with this. I do very well.